Between 1450 and 1700, thousands of people across Europe were tortured and executed for being werewolves. They were stretched on breaking wheels, their flesh torn with red-hot pincers, burned alive, not for murder, but because their neighbors believed they transformed into wolves at night. This wasn't folklore. These were real trials. Real executions. And what they reveal about human nature is more disturbing than any monster story. The word werewolf comes from Old English. Wer means man. Wolf means wolf. Man-wolf. But the concept is ancient. Nearly every culture with wolves has a version of humans becoming them. The earliest story comes from ancient Greece. King Lycaon tested the god Zeus by serving him cooked human flesh. Zeus transformed Lycaon into a wolf permanently as punishment. This is where we get the word lycanthropy, becoming a wolf. But Lycaon's transformation had nothing to do with the full moon. That came much later. In medieval Europe, the werewolf myth became lethal. Between the 15th and 18th centuries, Europe experienced what historians call the werewolf trials. Thousands were accused. Confessions were extracted through torture. Entire communities turned on each other. One of the most infamous cases was Peter Stumpp in Germany, 1589. He was accused of being a werewolf for over 20 years, killing 14 children and 2 pregnant women. Under torture, he confessed to making a pact with the devil, who gave him a magic belt that transformed him into a wolf. Stumpp's execution was horrific. He was stretched on a breaking wheel. His flesh was torn off with red-hot pincers. His arms and legs were shattered with hammers. Then he was beheaded and his body burned. A wooden wolf figure was mounted on a pole as a warning to others. Did Peter Stumpp actually kill those people? Possibly. Was he a werewolf? No. Most historians believe he was either a serial killer, mentally ill, or a scapegoat for unsolved crimes. But his case spread werewolf panic across Europe. The church fueled the fear. Werewolves were seen as agents of Satan. Transformation was witchcraft. If you were accused of being a werewolf, you were also accused of heresy. The punishment was always death. In France, a man named Gilles Garnier was executed in 1573 for being a werewolf. He confessed under torture to killing and eating 4 children while in wolf form. Witnesses claimed they saw a wolf attacking children, but when they chased it, they found Garnier covered in blood instead. He was burned alive. The werewolf trials were brutal. Suspects were tortured until they confessed. Their bodies were mutilated to prevent them from rising as undead. Communities lived in terror, convinced their neighbors might transform and kill them in the night. But here's what's strange. The full moon connection? That's not from folklore. It's from literature. The 1847 novel The Wolf Leader by Alexandre Dumas was one of the first to link werewolf transformations to the full moon. Before that, werewolves transformed whenever they wanted, or when cursed, or by wearing an enchanted item. But Dumas's idea caught on. By the early 1900s, it was standard in fiction. When Hollywood made The Wolf Man in 1941, they cemented it as canon. They also invented the werewolf bite, spreading the curse, and silver bullets killing werewolves. None of that existed in original folklore. There is a real medical condition that may have inspired some legends. Hypertrichosis, also called werewolf syndrome, causes excessive hair growth all over the body including the face. In medieval times, people with this condition would have been seen as cursed or monstrous. Another condition, clinical lycanthropy, is a rare psychiatric disorder where people genuinely believe they're transforming into animals. They hallucinate, behave like wolves, and attack others. Historical records describe people running on all fours, howling, biting. In 1521, Michel Verdun was found naked in the woods covered in blood with a dead child nearby. He claimed he had transformed into a wolf and couldn't control himself. He was executed. The last known werewolf execution in Europe was in 1721 in Germany. After that, the Enlightenment replaced superstition with science. But the myth didn't die. It evolved. Today, werewolves symbolize loss of control, repressed rage, the beast within. The real horror wasn't the transformation. It was what humans did to each other because they believed in it. The torture, the executions, the fear that turned neighbors into killers. Lycaon was punished for cruelty. But the cruelest part of the werewolf myth is how many innocent people were destroyed by it. Not by wolves. By humans.